Hi, I'm State Representative Tom Mehaffie, and I'm here in the district at the Harrisburg Humane Society. I'm with Amy Kaunas, the Executive Director, and I'm so happy to be here because if everybody knows I love our four-legged friends, and it's always so great to come here and see what you guys do for our district and how you take care of our animals, and that is so important to me, and I'm sure most of all our constituents across the district. So Amy, I'll talk a little bit about what you do here and what goes on in the Humane Society. And I guess basically, what's the coverage area that you take care of?
Sure. Well, we are located here in Swatara Township, but we do serve all of Dauphin, all of Cumberland, and all of Perry counties.
Wow, that's a large area.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Over 500,000 people. Yes.
That's a lot. And so how many animals do you take care of at any given time here?
So we can have anywhere from 200 to 500 animals in residence here, depending on the time of year. This time of year, February, March, we are at the lower end of the spectrum. So right now we only have about 200 animals, but as we get through spring and into the summer, you'll see that amount crest. And we'll get to our highest point usually around September, and we will have closer to 500 animals under our care.
Wow. We see a lot of construction going on here. That's great. I mean, you're expanding. Things are going on. That's good. I've been in this area for about 25 years, and I remember when this was much, much smaller.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on here.
Sure. Well, I'm happy to say we're expanding not to add animal space, animal care space. We're expanding instead to offer some additional products and services to the community. We are adding about 5,000 square feet to expand our low-cost veterinary services that we're going to be offering to the community. We're also adding some more retail store products at a lower price point for folks, some animal care products, which is going to be great. And we're looking forward to possibly opening the entire clinic sometime this summer.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's great. I've been here and I saw what you were doing, and it just gets better and better as we get here. So I'm really excited. I see you have a lot of retail for sale items, whether it's collars for the dogs or leashes or toys. So I see a lot of this here, and I didn't know that at first. I thought it was mainly just T-shirts, and you can still buy the T-shirts and sweatshirts.
Absolutely. Yeah. So all the money, of course, from the shelter or the shelter store goes right to the shelter animals. So it really does help us kind of help the animals that are left here. So the idea being when someone comes in to adopt, they can purchase all their animal care products here, and those monies go for the animals that weren't able to be adopted that day. So that's a great way to give.
Wonderful. Well, let's go back and see some of the animals. That's why we're here, right?
That's right.
All right, thanks. Amy and I are here in the cat room, and I see you have a lot of empty cages, which is great.
Yes.
We like to see that. But I see a lot of these cats, not all of them. It looks like they're going to be adopted, so that's wonderful. So tell us a little bit what it takes to care for these cats, and then also a little bit, about your staff and, of course, the volunteers.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people are surprised to find out that we have about 45 staff members here. So it is a significant operation, and staff comes in at 7 o'clock in the morning. We start our morning by walking through all of our animal care areas, checking on everyone, making sure they're okay. Then we begin prepping breakfast. Everybody gets breakfast, then we do morning medication, and then all of the dishes have to get picked up and hauled back to food prep to get cleaned. And then throughout the day, we'll have a nice group of volunteers come in and do cat socialization, some grooming. They take the dogs out, they walk them through our property for us, do some socialization with the dogs. We also have a team that distributes Kongs, so the dogs get some enrichment through the day. And then usually towards evening, we have second feed. So we go back and do the whole program again. We are open until 7 o'clock at night, every night. So staff usually leaves between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. So it's a long day for staff, and it does take a huge amount of people on a daily basis to care for the animals. So we do that with a combination of staff and volunteers. Direct animal care comes from staff. What we call the extras come from the volunteers. That time out of the cage, those longer walks, all that kind of stuff really comes from a strong volunteer base.
Yeah, when I'm here before, and I've been here, many times. I see the volunteers walking the dogs. They take them out. They let them exercise outside. That's really important. You know, a lot of people think that they just sit in cages, and that's not true. You guys do a fabulous job. You do a lot of work, and the volunteers, thank you so much for what you do here at the Humane Society. About how many volunteers do you have at any given time?
We have about 150 active volunteers. That doesn't mean 150 people in the shelter today, but we have 150 active volunteers, so we're really lucky to have a strong core.
That's great. And, you know, thank you again to all the volunteers and your staff. They do a great job here. It is a wonderful place.
Thank you.
And where's our kitten at? Come here, honey. How you doing? Oh. So if you want to adopt any of the cats, you want to come out, they're here for adoption, come see them. You'll fall in love right away. Okay, we're going to head over to the dogs.
We're going to head over to dockside.
Sounds
you got
good.
it.
A lot of barking going on.
That's right.
Okay, we're here with Goliath in the kennel, and I'm sure most of you can hear all the dogs barking here, but he's a good dog. He's out barking. He sure is. He's a good boy.
I know. Look at that face.
Yeah, he is. He's adorable. But let's talk a little bit about how these animals end up here, unfortunately.
Sure.
But that's the circumstances we're under here. A lot of them are adopted out, so that's a great thing. But how do they end up here?
Unfortunately, a lot of the animals end up here because they're victims of animal cruelty. And we do employ humane police officers here, and that it is a large portion of what we do here.
Okay. You know, I see him. I'm sure there's other people, though, that maybe have to move or have a circumstance, and they're able to drop the dogs off here if they don't have somewhere to go with them. Is that also true?
It is. We really do limit the amount of owner surrenders that we take because we try to save the space for animals that are either in need of rescue from a cruelty situation or are part of what we call exigent circumstances. We get a lot of people that did not plan properly, and when they pass away, their pets are left behind and there isn't anyone to care for them. So we get involved in those situations. We also have a lot of animals here that are part of a domestic violence situation. We've onboarded animals that unfortunately the folks have lost their home due to homelessness, job loss, fire, things like that. So most of the animals here really are here because they need to be here and they really have no place else to go.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We're going to go over and we're going to talk about a little bit about how to adopt one of the animals here, and we'll do that real quick. Okay, we're here and we're going to talk a little bit about the adoption process after we met with our dogs.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about what the process is and what you go through with those that want to adopt an animal?
Sure. So our adoption application is available online. So that's one thing we do recommend to folks. They can download the application ahead of time. They can complete the information even before they come in. And it does ask for references, including veterinary references and veterinary records. So another thing that makes the adoption process a little bit smoother is if you have your vet records already with you for any animals that are already residing in your home. Because one thing we do look for is making sure all the animals in the home are currently up to date, because every animal that's adopted from us comes fully vaccinated, which is super great. They come fully vaccinated, they're altered, which means they're spayed or neutered. They have a dewormer, and they also will have a flea and tick treatment. So they're 100% ready to go. And then they can also get upgraded to one of the packages from a retail store. So folks can add to the adoption and leave here with a crate, a bowl, a leash, a collar, everything they need. Or in the cat side, a litter box, a scooper, everything they need to take that animal home that day. So that's kind of a nice option. But after the application is filled out, folks will come into this room and they'll do what's called a get acquainted. They bring everyone from their family, four-legged creatures included, and specifically, the kids, because some animals just don't do well with kiddos. And they'll come in and they'll meet the animal, have some opportunity to interact. We also have exercise pens outside, so they can spend some time with the dogs in the outside setting. If they have another dog, that's a great way to kind of do a little bit of a meet and greet and see how the dogs interact. And folks can come back 2 or 3 times, and sometimes that's what it takes until the animal gets to meet everyone and is super comfortable with everybody in the house, because we want the adoption to stick. We want the adoption to work. So we do spend a lot of time on the adoption process, which is another thing that folks sometimes can be surprised at. They sometimes think, oh, well, we're going to come in and we're going to leave with an animal. That's usually not the reality. It does take a little bit more time until the animal is ready to leave and the family is ready to onboard the animal.
Well, this is a great opportunity to see what you actually do and how the adoption process works. because, you know, when you, like you said, most people think they're coming here, they're getting an animal and they're leaving, and
Yeah.
that's not really what's going on. You want to make sure every animal's placed properly, and
Absolutely.
that's a wonderful thing that you do. And I think, you know, just showing how clean this is and nice, and I mean, the facility is just so wonderful. So
Thank you.
we're going to move on here and see a little bit more about what you do, and we'll see what the what's next in store here at the Humane Society. So we're here in the bunny room, but it's not just bunnies.
That's right.
So we want to talk a little bit about what you do more than just dogs and cats. There's other animals that get dropped off here. I'm sure there's other animals that you guys take care of. So you want to tell us a little bit about what else you have here
Absolutely.
at any given time? And I'm sure there's other animals that we'd never even think about,
Yep.
but I'm sure you end up with them.
Yes, yes. Well, again, because we investigate crimes of animal cruelty, the cruelty code applies to the word animal. So we get lots of different animals here. Today we have some bunnies. We also have some rats behind us here. We have a ferret, I believe, over here. We regularly get guinea pigs. We also can get fish. We can get turtles. We have currently 33 equines under our care, control, and custody. So we get horses, we get agricultural animals. We've had sheep, we've had goat before. Some of the weirder things we've had red-bellied piranhas, which has been that's a unique animal.
How do you take care of the fish? Do you have tanks here?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of different storage closets with some amazing things that have been donated, because it could happen. We might have, 10 hours notice that we're doing an investigation and there are these red-bellied piranhas. So we need to step up and have the stuff to care for them. We have gotten some really odd things. Sometimes we get some reptiles. So we have a great relationship with an organization called Forgotten Friends. They're a reptile-based organization. All their rescue work is focusing on reptiles. So a lot of times we'll call them for some guidance. A few years ago, we've had cases with some exotic animals, and we'll have to use other resources to seek assistance on how to care for them till we get them to the right place. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I see. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you guys have going on out at the Colonial Park Mall. You're affiliated with Zoomania.
Yes.
I've been there with my grandson and my wife, and we love going there to see all the animals. So tell us a little bit about what Zoomania and how your affiliation is with them.
Sure. Well, Zoomania is what would be considered a traditional retail pet store. And what they have been doing for us is they've been taking some of these smaller critters and placing them in their storefront, which can get a lot more attention than the shelter does, and getting those animals adopted. We also have a similar partnership for our cats and for our dogs. We started the partnership last year, and so far we've adopted out over 200 animals from that location, which is phenomenal.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, we're going to go see more of the facility right now. We're here at the intake center, and this is a little bit more of what you guys do, just other than adoption of animals. So what else do you do? What other services do you provide here at the Humane Society?
Sure. Well, there's a couple. One, we talked about in the beginning, the low-cost veterinary services that we are expanding. We do offer low-cost spay-neuter services and low-cost vaccinations, and we're hoping to expand that veterinary care that we can offer with the new addition. We also have a pet food bank. So if you are in need of food, you can come into the shelter and we will give you some food for your pet, so you don't have to be sharing the food that a normal food bank is giving you with your animal. Your family can have that, and your pet can have pet food from us. We also do the cruelty investigation services, which again is a huge part of why we get the animals we get. And folks do report that to us. So if someone would see animal cruelty, one of the things we definitely want to make sure we touch on is how to report animal cruelty. And that would be by calling the shelter and reporting it through our cruelty hotline. We also offer municipal services. So for the municipalities within our service area of Dauphin, Cumberland, and Perry County, municipalities can contract with us to bring stray animals they find within their community here, and then we provide the residential care for them.
Yeah, I knew as a township commissioner, I knew we were part of that program and we provided monetary value to that. I think most municipalities do that, which is great.
Yes.
You know, and it helps out here, I'm sure, because these programs and low cost come as a cost.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about what we can do to volunteer here, or what other things that you need. If you can't volunteer, or if you want to donate monetarily or bring product here, what are you looking for? What's going on right now?
Absolutely. Well, of course, volunteering, your time is the greatest gift that anyone can give. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can go on our website, which is www.humanesociety.hbg.org, and download the volunteer application. We also have available on the website a wish list of the needs that we have at the shelter. One of the campaigns we're running right now, it's coming to the close. We do it every February. It's Show Your Love with a Glove. We go through thousands of latex gloves a year, and it does cost us anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 for those gloves because of the volume. In between each animal's cage, we're taking the gloves off, we're cleaning, and as we talked about, we feed twice a day, so we medicate twice a day, and every time they need to be changing gloves. So we go through a ton of them. So there's always things like that we can use. We are very, very blessed. We have wonderful contacts with a lot of organizations that donate food for our residents. So a lot of times when people want to donate to us, that's the first thing they think of. They think food. But we go through a lot of cleaning products to provide a sanitary environment for the animals. So we can always use donations of things like bleach, large black trash bags, and of course, always the gloves. Super, super important. But if we have any particular need based on the kind of animals we have here, it's going to be on our wish list. So next in line, I can tell you, going into the season, next in line is going to be kitten items, because we're gonna get ready to go into kitten season here in the spring. So KMR, which is kitten replacement milk, we can certainly use, and any type of kitten chow, canned or bagged kitten food. That's going to be coming up for us soon here. Yeah, spring will come.
Yeah, and all the babies come with
Yes,
spring.
yes.
That's true. That's very true. Well, Amy, thank you so much for allowing us to come here and show us around and show us what you do and the fantastic facility you have. And thank you again. This
Thank
was a
you.
great experience,
Appreciate it.
and I'm so glad that Tom's Tours could do this at this facility.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining me on Tom's Tours. If you have any other additional information you need or questions to be asked, my contact information will be on the screen in a couple minutes.